move to President Obama because it's some of the most interesting and to me disturbing material in the book. You say that President Obama was the most endangered president in history, and as I read your narrative, this is really is a story about race and racism, the just vile threats and messages that were sent. Uh, you write that we learned a lot about this thanks to a lawsuit by black Secret Service agents. Maybe you could explain that background and the background of trying to cover, protect Barack Obama in this very charged racial environment.
Lot to unpack there. Before Barack Obama was even considering running for president, before Harry Reid tried to put some wind underneath his wings to ascend to the White House, dozens of Black agents who worked at the Secret Service were getting more than restless. They were becoming incensed. They knew that their ratings for performance were higher than many of the white colleagues that they had who kept getting promoted around them and above them. They were training some of the people who then supplanted them and became their supervisors. And this was just unfathomable to them that the meritocracy was not winning the day in the Secret Service, right? It should be your performance. When they decided to sue their own agency, and we in Washington have seen many employees, Black employees, file discrimination lawsuits against their agency, against their institution, or their employer, the reaction within the Secret Service was quite visceral. White agents and supervisors blackballed the Black agents who signed their name on the dotted line to join this lawsuit. They were pressured to drop out of it. They were turned down for all sorts of assignments. And they stuck with that lawsuit for years as the Secret Service tried to drag it out and avoid turning over the documents that would, the discovery that would decide whether or not the agency was indeed engaged in a pattern of racial discrimination. When finally Judge Deborah Robinson in federal court demanded that the Secret Service turn over these records or face a daily fine in the tens of thousands of dollars, when the Secret Service finally coughed it up, lo and behold, the evidence of that racial and racist behavior within the agency was laid bare. Top supervisors were joking about all sorts of bizarre things, how they could get Jesse Jackson killed, how that would benefit the country, joking about Maxine Waters, making sexual jokes about Black males and sexual prowess. It just went on and on. And these were not, junior rookies. These were people at the very top of the agency, the equivalent of the C-suite. Uh, as you said, President Obama arrives and is inaugurated into the White House. In the months before he arrives, the director of the Secret Service is pretty worried because the number of threats against Obama's life as president-elect are nearly 4 times what the Secret Service has seen before with other presidents in history. And the director seeks hundreds of millions of dollars to try to up basically the security ring around the White House and around the president, increasing the technology, increasing the number of people literally guarding the base where he will live, the 18-acre complex that is supposed to be the most secure in the world and hasn't been recently. But he is turned down for much of that money. He gets a little bit of it and loses it again the next year. And the threats continue against President Obama because he's the first Black president in America. Some of the threats are so frightening, they can't be repeated. But there's a lot of talk about lynching him, a lot of talk about shooting him, a lot of talk about finding Secret Service agents that could help kill him. It's pretty awful stuff.